Welcome to this Memorial Day edition of the New Jersey Criminal Podcast. This is an excerpt from the Mighty MERP podcast hosted by attorney Melissa Rosenblum, a criminal defense lawyer in Atlantic County. She hosts Thomas Roughneen. He is a veterans advocate. They discuss the effectiveness of the Veterans Diversionary Program in New Jersey and the need for more consistency and support across counties. The conversation highlights the importance of county bar associations in holding counties accountable and the role of mentors in the program. This conversation also touches on the lack of a specialty court for veterans in New Jersey and the potential benefits of a mental health court. Welcome to the NJ Criminal Podcast. Please enjoy the show.
And I think the county bar, with people like you and others who are in the trenches, who are mixing it up with the assignment judge and the presiding criminal judge in the various vicinages, I think that's where we have not been effective. And if Judge Delory and the work you're doing and the VA Justice Outreach Liaison is doing is going to be effective across the state, it's going to take that type of work. So I think we can hold the counties and vicinages accountable with the county bar associations more in the future than we have in the past.
So that's really interesting because, we have this Veterans Diversionary Program, and it's in the 2C criminal statute book. And, it's laid out. It is a county prosecutor's program. It's not considered a judiciary program. And all the counties' Veterans Diversionary Program is slightly different. If you go to each of the counties' websites, they each handle it slightly differently. And there's a part of me that I think from a county that has a very strong program that we can definitely be used as a model for other counties to replicate. But there is a part of me that thinks that there needs to be something more within this done with the state as a whole, so that the program is treated more like PTI, where it shouldn't matter what county you're in, whether you're accepted or not accepted, or whether you're being supervised well, or whether there's a judge of the program. We're one of the few counties that has a judge that meets with the veterans that are in the program every month to do a status and see how these veterans are doing on the program.
The statute the legislature passed and Christie signed in 2016, and I think it went effective in 17. It does.
I think you're right.
More than 2C. It does have the National Guard, Department of Military and Veteran Affairs, who has a responsibility, and they're supposed to train. Oh my God, I can't think of what it's called, but mentors. They're supposed to. The statute contemplates a mentor, and I don't know how effective Atlantic County is doing with that, but the Department of Military and Veteran Affairs has a responsibility, and Dave Culley, who's a former Hunterdon County assistant prosecutor and a former naval officer, and he currently works in DeMava. He has these trainings for mentors. I just don't know how effective you're correct, without the state using a stick on the various counties, I don't think that the county prosecutors in particular, are doing a good job of recruiting, retaining, training mentors. And I think the mentors are very important.
Right. I mean, we're fortunate because our prosecutor's office has always supported this program, and they've been, very involved. Most of the prosecutors that have overseen it are either retired or still in the military themselves. And so, that's one of the reasons why I think Atlantic County has, all of those, all of it in place, including mentors And they use their discretion. The statute says if you have a second degree, if you have a violent offense, and they look at the cases individually. So they are really good about trying to work with veterans and getting them in the program. But I ask it from the state level first, because I'm sure you know this, that most states have a specialty court for our veterans, that it is run from the court. New York has it, I believe Pennsylvania has it. So I think it's great what we have for the counties that implement it. But I don't know. I mean, you do work with more military than I do, and I only work in South Jersey. So I guess my two questions are sort of why don't we have that specialty court for our veterans? And then what counties, I mean, is it a strong program in North Jersey or Central Jersey? Because I only go up till I do all of South Jersey, but I don't really go past Ocean when I'm driving north.
Each county has been doing its own. I think Middlesex County and their first assistant, Chris Kubright, are extraordinary. So they're doing a good job. I'm hoping that Chris Kubright will come to the CLE. I'm going to talk to him over the weekend. Hopefully he's like me and he doesn't care about NFL football. So he, I think, works all the time, and he likes to call my office on a Sunday, and I don't work on a Sunday typically until nighttime when the kids are awake. So, of the counties in northern New Jersey, the only one that I know of, and it's not really northern New Jersey, is Middlesex, that has a established, credible veteran diversion program. I know Passaic had a good one because they had a lieutenant colonel named Jorge Morales, who has since retired, and I don't know what type of system he left in place, but right, if you called Passaic County, you'd get Jorge Morales, who's a lieutenant colonel. And so, unfortunately what's happening, Melissa, is like in Atlantic County, you have a lieutenant colonel, John Flammer, who is in the United States Army Reserve as a Jaguar, and you have a retired Navy Reserve judge advocate who's the presiding judge. Well, that makes it very easy. But if you don't have that, you can't really excuse those counties for not doing anything. Like, I know Union County, they're not doing anything. I would bet that they haven't put a single case into veteran diversion. And I also wanted to point out, you mentioned about the various states and what type of programs they have. So I'm a bit sheepish to tell you and admit this, but so now we have, I'm admitted in New Jersey. We have an office in New Brunswick, but I opened up a new office and I live in Huntsville, Alabama. And don't judge me on that, to anyone who catches up with our program. So it's a thriving city. It's the home of NASA, more rocket scientists here than anywhere on the planet. But their diversion program is very moderate, right? And this is a military state. And even the veteran diversion statute in New Jersey, it really specifies nonviolent crimes, third degree, fourth degree, and disorderly persons and petty disorderly persons. And the prosecutors really have discretion to do whatever the hell they want. But technically, someone who gets a diversion with a second degree or a violent crime or domestic violence, they're technically not using the veteran diversion program. And so prosecutors in New Jersey have the ability, and they use PTI instead, I think. And what the states are doing, I mean, New Jersey was late to the game. I think we were the 41st state to, maybe more, 42nd, 43rd, to pass a diversion statute for military. And more of your expertise will be to see if that was a precedent for a mental health quote unquote court. The administrative office of the courts was very opposed to, and is still opposed to, specialty courts. And so Judge Grant has made it very clear that veteran diversion is not a court. He also has made it very clear that he thinks any judge can handle any type of case on any given day. They differ, but that's his position and he's in charge. So that's the way it is. But as you can see in Atlantic, without somebody who knows what they're doing, like Judge Delory, the program is going to probably languish.
Right. And I know I've been in other counties where I've applied clients to Veterans Diversionary Program. In hindsight, it was the strangest thing because the prosecutor accepted it, the judge accepted it, and then when I asked my client, what he ended up doing for the Veterans Diversionary Program, it really was nothing. There was no support. There was no mentors. There was no meeting. It was less than probation in some ways. He was fortunate that he was able to complete the time without a need for a lot of services, but that's not really true with, many of our veterans. They need, the reason why they're in the criminal justice system is partly because of the mental health issues, trauma issues, and, prior to their service, they were law-abiding individuals, right? So usually they're in the criminal justice system because they need some sort of assistance or help.
Exactly. And that, the rationale behind the statute is, so this is more bean counting than you or I truly care about, but, the national organization who runs this is under the umbrella of National Association of Drug Court Professionals. They run seminars twice a year, national conventions for that monstrous lobby, the drug court people. And underneath them is this Justice for Vets, but I think they renamed it now All Rise. And what they'll tell you is that if veterans are struggling financially, they're in Medicaid, which is a county-run program, and counties love to get people out of Medicaid using the VA. So it's a cost-saving argument that you can use at the county level. And right, the veterans are supposed to be linked up with this monstrosity of a bureaucracy and healthcare agency of the VA. And so hopefully, if they need it, they're benefiting from that as well.
So recovery court is a specialty court, correct?
You'd have to tell me more about that.
Well, drug court, what was formerly known as drug court, now is named recovery court in New Jersey.
Yeah, I guess it's in the court rules, so they got through. So that's a lot. So going back, that was implemented when I was a young assistant prosecutor. So, it's statutory, like the Veterans Diversion law is. It's in the rule. I don't think veterans get in the rule book. They're not in the court rules yet. They probably should be.
They're not. I don't believe.
Yeah, no.
But they are in the 2C book, which is the criminal code for New Jersey.
Well, interesting to see how mental health court legislation, which if it passes and gets signed, helps or not the veteran diversion.
Right. Is that, I know that the mental health court is in the pipeline, but is it looked at as a specialty court, or is it looked at as, my understanding was it was going to be parallel or similar to recovery court, formerly known as drug court.
Yeah, I think it appears, because I've heard the word court attached to it, that's the moniker that's being used. How that got past Judge Grant, I don't know, but it's fine with me. And I think that can only help. It's another tool for lawyers representing veterans. So,
I agree.
You have this mental health court option. Now you can present your veteran information in a more systemized way. So just another option for me, I think.
No, I think that most people who handle criminal law matters, whether you're working as a prosecutor or a defense attorney, involved in probation, you're in the court system, or you're a judge, you know that most clients that are in the system have either some sort of mental health issue, including drug or alcohol issues, and they need assistance in order not to come back into the system. Very few people, contrary to what we see on Law and Order or CSI, or, they're not criminal masterminds. They're just individuals struggling.
Well, and so it would be terrible not to say that the statistics on these veteran diversion programs, the recidivism rates are negligible. And that's a credit not only to this system, but it's this credit to the people who are involved that this is aberrant behavior for them, and hopefully most of them are coming from a solid job background, and they have a job, and they have a family, and they have a support network. And so this, exception and maybe linking them up, it's unfortunate, but a lot of the veterans are not historically using in any way the VA. So not only is there's two parts to the VA, as you know, there's the VHA, which is the healthcare hospital system, clinics, and then there's the VBA, which is coughing up all kinds of money to veterans who have service-connected disabilities. And so that's part of what our law firm does too. But, these veterans who are clearly injured mentally and or physically, and they haven't ever filed a claim, and they think that's for people who are really seriously injured and not for them. And so we oftentimes are helping them file their initial claim. We can't get paid for that. We just, point them in the right direction. So every county, I don't know if your VSO at the county level is very active, but every county usually has a bureaucrat on payroll, and their job is to assist veterans with their benefits. And they should be helping to file claims and handling appeals. So that's part of what we do as well. So look that person up in the county, see what they're up to. Invite them to court the next time you're there.
Yeah, I usually have my iPad out while I'm recording, which I'm recording on my computer, and then I would have typed that up to see who it was, but I did not do that. You started with the idea that VDP, Veterans Diversionary Programs, are really successful and with lower recidivism. And I was talking to Judge DeLaurie earlier regarding VDP and the podcast, and he said the graduation rate, is, extraordinarily high in Atlantic County of veterans who have participated in the VDP. And I didn't write the number down, but I'm pretty sure that he said it's over 90%. I don't want to give the exact number, but that it was, most people who do the program are successful through the program, and they are provided with mentors as well.
That's the number. It's 90% across the board, or better. Very, very. Sometimes, even in the low single digits of repeat offenses.
Right.
You can find the link to the full conversation on the Mighty MERP podcast anywhere that this video excerpt is posted.